Okay, so today we're going to be focusing on Haggai. I titled this class Haggai, Consider Your Ways and Just Do It. I'm going to give a little background to who Haggai is and what Treyasar is. Hopefully we do the whole entire Haggai. It's only 2 prakim, so we can do the whole Sefer Haggai. So you walk away with doing the whole Sefer of Tanakh, which is cool. All right, so Haggai takes place as part of the Treyasar, as you know, the 12 minor prophets. Just so you know, please stop me if you have any questions or want to say anything. So not just me talking all the time. But so Haggai is part of the Treyasar, part of the 12 quote-unquote minor prophets. They're not necessarily minor, lesser, or greater, but they're shorter in the length, and they were put all together in one book, Treyasar. Most likely so they don't get lost, because if they're 1 chapter, 2 chapters, a couple chapters, then so we don't lose them. And they take place at different time periods. They're not all in one time period. They take place at different time periods, different topics, different themes. Haggai is towards the end. So we have the last 3 in Treyasar are Haggai, Zechariah, Malachi, are the last 3 prophets that we have. The time period of Haggai is an interesting time period. The time period of Haggai is before or during the Persian Empire, right? When right before the building of the second Beit HaMikdash. So if you remember, Bavel with Nebuchadnezzar conquered Eretz Yisrael, destroyed Beit HaMikdash Harishon in the year 586 BC. The people were taken out. They went to Bavel. Majority of the people of Israel left. Some people were still there, but majority of the people left, and they were living in Bavel. Bavel was then conquered by the Persians, and if you remember those in Jewish history, right, you learned about Koresh, Cyrus, and Cyrus had a decree, Hatzarat Koresh, in 538 BC, and he allowed the people to go back to Eretz Yisrael to build. And that was when Ezra, if you remember about Ezra went with about 50,000 people back to Eretz Yisrael, back to Yerushalayim to build the temple. However, we see in Haggai, which takes place, we'll see in the time of King Darius, Daryavesh, and this is a few years later, about 20 years later, they still did not build Beit HaMikdash. So even if Ezra went, a bunch of people went, they still didn't build the Beit HaMikdash. As we can see, 50,000 is not a large number. 50,000 is actually a small number compared to the Jewish people, right? There are hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of people, and only 50,000 people went. So we saw that not a lot of people went, even though they had a permission to go during Koresh, during Cyrus, and they didn't end up building it. We do know that the kings in between, there was a king in between Koresh and Daryavesh, that stopped Bnei Yisrael from building because the Shomronim, the Samaritans, were complaining. But they didn't push. They didn't push Daryavesh to go. They have a new king. They could have pushed. They didn't do that. Haggai comes and tells the people now the book of Haggai is all about. What are you doing? Let's start again. Let's rebuild the Beit HaMikdash, the second Beit HaMikdash, and let's go. But you have to just do it, because the people are going to complain and possibly say certain things that are not going to want to push them to go build it. And what I want to discuss Haggai is we can learn a lot of things from Haggai, not just from that time period, but from our lives today. That sometimes we have things that we want to accomplish, but in our thought process, we say, no, we can't do it. Then we impede ourselves. That sometimes we say, I'm not going to try something because I can never achieve it, or it won't be as great as I want to do it. And we prevent ourselves. And Haggai teaches us, we'll see, Haggai teaches us, go ahead, just do it. Okay? Any questions from before we actually read the psukim? No. Okay. Good. Does anybody want to read instead of me? That's fine too. No volunteers? Okay. I'll read. I'll call on you, but it's not class, so I'll read. בשנת 2 לדריווש המלך בחודש השישי, ביום 1 לחודש, היה דבר השם ביד חגי הנביא אל זרובבל בן שלתיאל פחד יהודה ואל יהושע בן יהוצדק הכהן הגדול לאמור. Haggai has a lot of introductions where he focuses on names and times, specific times. So we see when this is taking place. This is taking place in the second year of the reign of Darius. Again, Darius is the king of Paras, king of Persia. This is B'chodesh HaShishi B'yom Echad. This is in the month of Elul, Rosh Chodesh Elul. Okay, and this Chazon came to Haggai. Who is Haggai? He's the Navi. And who is he talking to? Not just Haggai, but to Zerubbabel and to Yehoshua ben Yotzadaq. Zerubbabel is the Pechat Yehuda, meaning the governor of Yehuda. He is the leader. It's a question of who he actually is, but he's from, Chazal say, he's from the tribe of Yehuda, but he was appointed as the governor of Yerushalayim, of Yehuda at that time, and Yehoshua ben Yotzadaq, who's the Kohen Gadol. If you know, Yehotzadaq was the last Kohen Gadol in the Beit HaMikdash. His father, Yeshua's father, was the Kohen Gadol before when they had the Beit HaMikdash, right, generation ago. They had a Beit HaMikdash, and now he is the Kohen Gadol. There's no Beit HaMikdash yet, but he's still the Kohen Gadol. And now Haggai is talking to Zerubbabel, to Yehoshua ben Yotzadaq. And he says, Ko Amar Hashem Tzvaot Lemor. Yeah, question.
Is there any reason why the name of the month isn't mentioned like it's mentioned in the Megillah?
Say it again.
Is there any reason why the name of the month isn't mentioned?
So naming the months came later. The actual month of Elul, Tishrei, all these things, if you know, in the Chumash and in Tanakh, they often don't mention that. They also mention just names of months.
They're mentioned in the Megillah, no?
The Megillah sometimes are written later. It says, but also there it says Adar, and sometimes, but not always. It always also says just numbers because it's not necessarily form-wise. And also the Shishi, we know that it's counting from Nisan being the first month, right? So this is because of the king. When you're mentioning kings, the kings always start in Nisan. When the king's year, like Shanat Shtaim Dariyavish, the year starts in the month of Nisan. So that's why it says the 6th month, which is Elul, as opposed to Elul is our, last month. So
in the Megillah, the names of the months aren't mentioned. This is taking place a couple of years after, but it's still not mentioned.
Right. So again, the name of the months were not formalized yet. All of them were not formalized yet.
So it's still like up in the air, so they didn't.
Right, so they considered it. They knew what the Shishi was, the 6th month. And in Tanakh, there are different names for the months. That the Yerach Itanim, all these other names are used throughout Tanakh for months because what we know, Tishrei and Kislev, Cheshvan, Kislev, all these months were not formalized yet. They came later on. Okay, so this is taking place during the Yavesh, during the time. And what does he say? In Pasuk Bet. Ko Amar Hashem Tzvaot V'mor ha'am hazeh emru lo et bo et beit Hashem libanot. Hashem says, the people are saying now, it's not the time to build the house of Hashem. So again, they were allowed to go into Yerushalayim in the year around 538. This is taking place in the year around 516, 520. So this is about 20 years after they were first given permission to go build Beit HaMikdash. It's still not built. So Hashem says in the name of Haggai, or Haggai says in the name of Hashem, the people are saying it's not the right time to build. Now, they might have a lot of excuses. They might say, look, we just got here. We were in a different place. We just got here. We have to settle first. We're not ready to build. They might say, oh, they're old. Maybe only the old people went back because they remembered it. So they went back. We're too old to build. Maybe they were actually young. There was a young guys and said, no, we're too young. We're not experienced enough. We have to settle. We have to know. Some people say, no, we have to wait for some miraculous thing to come to build Beit Hashem. So they might have all excuses that Hashem is saying that, hey, we're not building it yet. We're not ready to build. And what is Hashem going to tell them? V'yidvar Hashem b'yad Haggai navi lemor, ha'et lachem atem lashevet bebetechem sfunim v'abayit hazeh charev. But you're saying you don't have time to build my house, the Beit HaMikdash, but you are sitting in your own houses. You have time to build in your fancy, nice houses with roofs or ceilings. V'abayit hazeh charev, in my house, this house, charev, are in ruins. Okay, charev, pay attention. He's going to play on that word later on. Like chorban. So you're saying, yeah, you don't have time to build, but look, you're building your own houses. You're going settling your own houses. So obviously you're just making excuses. So what does he say? Pasuk, hey, vata ko mar Hashem tzvaot simu v'vavchem al drechechem. Consider your ways. The Haggai is going to repeat these same words multiple times. He says, simu v'vavchem al drechechem. Pay attention to what you are doing. Pay attention to your actions. You say you don't have time to build, but yet you're building. So focus on your priorities. Okay? Oftentimes you think that you can't do something. You make up all these excuses why you can't achieve certain goals, why you can't go out and build a business, why you can't learn Torah, why you can't do all these things. You make these all excuses. But Haggai is telling these people and us even now, consider how you've been faring, consider your ways, check yourself. And Hashem wants to show them what they're not realizing. You are plowing and you're sowing a lot, but you're not really taking it all in. You're eating, but you're not becoming satiated. You're drinking, but you're not becoming full. You're wearing all these clothes, but you're not getting warm from it. It's like you're earning, you have a salary, but it's like you're earning or going to waste. It's like you're earning, putting it in a piggy bank that has holes in the bottom. It's falling out. So everything you're doing in your life, you're doing, but you're not really achieving much. You're not really achieving your goal. Therefore, he repeats the same phrase again. He repeats his same phrase again, and he says, check out your ways. Consider your ways. Check what you're doing. Focus on what you are accomplishing. Or you have the right priorities. You're working, but are you working efficiently? And here in this time, he's rebuking them, and he's saying, look, you're not realizing what I am doing. You think you're doing everything great for yourselves, but you're not really achieving. Why? Because you're not building Beit Hashem. Don't have the right priorities. Focus, check yourselves. He says, make sure, check your ways. So what should you do? Alu al har, go up, ve'vetim etz, bring a wood, ubenu bait, and build this house. And what am I going to do? I'm going to glorify it. Go and build. Take a tree. Now, he's not using the words, go get zahav, go get kesef, go get these fancy trees from Lebanon that they did for the first Beit HaMikdash. Go to the tree, go to the mountain and get a tree. Hashem is saying, we think we have to only try something when we know we're going to succeed fully, or when we're going to achieve that glorious, it's going to be glorious. What Hashem is telling the people then, no, don't think you have to get all this gold for these fancy trees. Just get any tree, start building, start the process, just do it. That's what's important.
Rabbi.
Yeah.
Where does he want them to get their money from?
So it doesn't mean, he's not asking for much. He's not saying you have to build me this fancy Beit HaMikdash.
I understand, but doesn't he have to I guess sort of supply the material, because it's the material, it's also the time that they're going to be giving up from their jobs and
right. So Hashem is going to say later on, the reason you're not being successful so much is because you're not focusing on what's important as well. Like he said, you are working, they have jobs, but they're not succeeding. Why aren't they succeeding? Because their priorities are not right, because they also have to focus on Hashem. So if you would interpret it, you would say that if they build the Beit HaMikdash, if they focus on Hashem also, then you're going to be successful in your business. Then you're going to be successful in all you're doing. But you're just focusing on your work and not focusing on Hashem, and that's why your work is suffering as a result. And he says here, go to the heart, go look around you. There's a lot of trees. Knock down a tree, cut down a tree, and build a Beit HaMikdash. Just do it. Now, just so you know, I want to point out this. If you look at the word, you see vechbed, vechbeda, There's a difference in how we read it and how it's written. Chazal say there's this hey, right? There's the difference in the hey. There were 5 differences between the first Beit HaMikdash and the second Beit HaMikdash. And the hey represents, 5. There are 5 losses. 1 is the Aron. 2 is the Urim V'Tumim. 3 is the fire, the heavenly fire. 4 is the Shekhinah. And 5 is Ruach HaKodesh. Those were the differences. That's what Chazal learned, the 5 differences from this hey.
How can the Shekhinah be a difference if we built the Beit HaMikdash for Hashem, and if it's the Shekhinah is not present, then building the Beit HaMikdash was just pointless?
Very good. So the Shekhinah represents like this cloud also. The full Shekhinah of Hashem wasn't in the second one like it was in the first. But that's a good point to get. It's a good thing.
So, point.
But Hashem was, so it wasn't that Hashem wasn't there, but the full thing wasn't there because...
Hashem's yelling at them right now to go build it, and he doesn't show up fully?
Kind of. Yeah, good one. So because you'll see the faults that they had even within the second Beit HaMikdash, because there were still faults. So he says, go and do it. Now he's gonna say, continue along this. Ponel harbe v'nelemat. You're expecting much, but you're only getting little. Again, you're trying to do everything, but you have the wrong priorities. You're having the wrong priorities because everything you're trying to do is nothing. I make it, he says, that it's not successful. He blows into it. He blows it up. Why? Because you're not focusing on my house. You're just focusing on your own house. So they could be, they're building up their own houses, but not focusing on Hashem. And what else Hashem's going to do now? I'm going to withhold the rain and the dew from the land, so you're not going to be able, the fruits are not going to be producing as much. And Lamed ve'karev cherev al ha'aretz v'al herim v'al dagam v'al tirosh v'al yitzar v'al asher titzei adama v'al dam v'al behma v'al goy kapayim. I'm going to bring chorev. I'm going to read destruction. Remember, we had the word charav, which we talked about of the bite. Now he's playing on the word chorev. He's going to bring destruction to the aretz, to the harim, to the ganat rosh. These are the grains, the wines, the oil. You're not going to be successful if you're not focusing on Hashem as well. There's going to be destruction.
Rabbi.
Yeah.
Every time I feel like Hashem always says, yeah, I'm just going to destroy, send some destruction and stuff like that. And then Bnei Israel is going to do Tisha B'Av. But I feel like that's so counterintuitive. If you want people to praise you and worship you happily, then it doesn't make sense to hurt them just so they
right. So this is, I would say, quote unquote, tough love. Right? Sometimes, yes, that's the ideal. The ideal is that they recognize for themselves, they know themselves, and they do the right thing. But they're not doing that. So the Hashem has to give them a little slap, a little tough love to pressure them, to say, you're
I
not.
feel like there's a difference between tough love and destruction, and I'm going to make sure no food, no rain.
Right, because maybe that's only sometimes we only are influenced or pushed to do things when we're pushed up to that rock, because then we're not going to do it. So you have to get to that breaking point possibly in order to realize you did something wrong, and only then you're going to realize it. So he says, Vishmazru, and what happens now? We see the result. Their reaction. Vishmazru Rebel ben Shaltiel, V'Yoshua ben Tzadako Kohen Hagdol, V'chol Sharitam. Everybody says B'Kol Hashem Eloheim, V'al Divrei Haggai Hanavi Kasher Shalcho Hashem Eloheim, V'Yiru Ha'am Mipnei Hashem. Now they got scared. Now they realize when Hashem puts that warning. You see here, Joey. He has to warn them. Bad things are going to happen, and also realize what's happening to you now. You're not being successful because you're not focusing on Hashem. Now they finally get it.
Why? But I'm saying I don't get why he always chooses this path. He never tries. Oh, let me send them into a golden age and then send a Navi and say, all this is because of Hashem. Go praise Hashem. And if they have all the wealth and everything, they'll be like, yes, it's because of Hashem, blah, blah, blah. Let me go praise him.
So that does happen. That often in good times, Bnei Israel often say, look what I did. I'm so successful because I worked very hard. I'm so successful because I did this and this. They often forget at the good times that everything came because of Hashem. And then that's when they veer off the derech. That's when they go to Avodah Zarah, or they focus on, they don't treat their fellow man properly because they forget that everything came to them from Hashem. When they're successful, when they have everything. And it's that bad cycle, because in good times you often don't say thank God. Only in times when you're pressed, then you say, please Hashem, help me. It's more difficult to praise Hashem when everything's good, because it's harder for you to realize than when you're down in the ditch and you're praying to Hashem to help you. It's easy. When you need Hashem's help, you're going to ask for it. When you have everything, you're not as thankful for it, because you take things for granted. That makes sense?
Yeah.
All right. So now we say, okay, they got it. And what does Hashem say? Now, don't worry, I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm going to support you. Go and build. Do it. I'm going to be there with you. In Shri Haggai is called a malach. This is not an angel. This is just a messenger of Hashem. V'yar Hashem et ruach Zerubbabel ben Shaltiel pecha Yehuda v'ruach Yehoshua ben Yotzdak uken hagdol v'ruach kol sharit ha'am v'yavu v'yas'u hamelacha b'beit Hashem tzorot alehem. Now, because they agreed, we see that ruach Hashem is on Zerubbabel, is on Yehoshua, it's on the whole entire nation. Hey, Victor, it's on the whole entire nation, and they are doing it. They're actually going to build the second Beit HaMikdash. When is this taking place? B'yom esrim v'arba l'chodesh b'shishi b'shnat shnayim v'yidriyav Shemelech. They're taking it on the 24th day. Remember, this was told on the first day. This is the 24th day. It took them a little while, but they are doing it. They are ready to build the second Beit HaMikdash. So we started out saying, Haggai went, hey, you guys aren't building it. You have all these issues. You say you can't achieve it. It's not going to be as great as the first one. You're not able to do it because you're young. You're not able to do it because you're old. What Haggai and Hashem is saying, just do it. Oftentimes in our lives, we see that we can't achieve that mountain. We can't achieve that goal. It's too hard for us, or we don't think we're going to succeed, or we don't think we're going to achieve something well. Right, Michael? What should we say? No, let's just do it. Let's try. Even if it might be small at the beginning, you might think you might fail. No, what should you do? Just go for it. Try your best. Do it. And if you do it in the right way, Hashem says, I'm going to be with you. Okay? That was the first parak of Haggai. We finished half of the Sefer already. Okay? We're up to the second half of the Sefer.
We're doing both
Yeah, 2 prakim, because that's the whole thing. We could finish it. It won't take long. Okay? Next. Second parak. Okay, now we're talking about, we're in the 7th month. We're in Tishrei. When is this? 21st day of Tishrei. What happens on the 21st day of Tishrei? Anybody?
Is that Simchat Torah? Or Yom
Close.
Kippur?
Yeah, very close. Hoshana Rabbah, right? Hoshana Rabbah is on 21st day. So very close. But Hoshana Rabbah is the time when they do certain things in the Beit HaMikdash. That's maybe why we have that date. And they do the pouring of the water and all the things they use, the Hoshanot. They use that. So it's a time when they do things in the Beit HaMikdash. So they're building, right. Now, Haggai goes up and Amar na el Zerubbabel ben Shaltiel pecha Yehuda v'Yoshua ben Yotzdak kohen hagdol v'al sharit ha'am lemor. Now he's going telling all these people. And he says, Mi bechem hanishar asher ra'a et habayit hazeh bekvodo harishon. U'ma atem ro'im oto ata halo kemo ke'im enechem. Who amongst you remember the first Beit HaMikdash? Who amongst you remembers how great it was? And then how does it look now? It must seem like nothing, right? You think, again, the same argument that the people have that they're doing it, they're trying, but they have doubts because they're saying, look, we can't achieve that greatness that Shlomo HaMelech did. Shlomo HaMelech was the richest king. He had everything around him. He was able to get all the best gold, the best wood, the best materials, best workers. So Hashem is saying, who remembers that glorious? You might think that it's nothing. But Haggai says to Zerubbabel and the rest, "Ve'ata chazak Zerubbabel nu'um Hashem, chazak Yoshua ben Yotzadak Kohen Hagdol, ve'chazak kol am ha'aretz nu'um Hashem." Be strong, don't be disheartened. V'asu ki ani itchem nu'um Hashem. Don't worry how it looks, that it's might be not as great, not as look good. I am with you even in this case. Why? Because I made a brit, I corrected brit, right? I made a brit with you when I took you out of Mitzrayim, and I will be with you. Don't worry. I'm always going to be with you. Now he says, pushing them a little bit, again, rebuking them a little bit. He says that soon I'm going to bring this shake. Something's going to happen to the whole world, and the whole world is going to change a little bit. But don't worry. In the shakeup of the whole world, I'm going to shake up this all nations, and all the precious things of all the nations are going to come to me. And what's going to happen? This whole bite is going to be kavod. If you remember in Yeshayahu, those who were in Yeshayahu with me, we saw that kavod Hashem is going to be maleh. It's going to fill up the whole bite. It's kavod Hashem is going to fill up the whole bite. Why? Liha kesef, liha zahav nu'um Hashem tzvaot. Remember, you were worried about the kesef and zahav that you didn't have to build it, or you were just focused on the kesef zahav for yourself. Realize the kesef and zahav is mine. The whole world is mine. Don't worry about it. You're going to get the kesef zahav when it's due time. And then, gadol yeh kavod habayit hazeh ha'acharon min harishon. This house, this Beit HaMikdash is going to be even better. Kavod Beit Hashem, it's going to be even more so than it was in the first Beit HaMikdash. Amar Hashem tzvot makom hazeh eten shalom nu'um Hashem tzvot. Why? Because you're going to get shalom. There's going to be peace. Now, Chazal discuss when is this and how does this actually look like. It could be the length of the years that the Beit HaMikdash lasted. The second Beit HaMikdash was longer than the first. Could be the actual greatness, if you remember, not at this time, but later on, King Herod built the second temple, rebuilt the second temple to its grandeur. It was very grand, and so many statements were said how grand it was. It could also be the peaceful time period, talking about the time of the Chashmonaim, when it really was peaceful and they had their own kingdom. So Chazal discuss how that could really be the greatness.
Why is Hashem saying that it's going to be even more glorified than the first one, when the Shekhinah doesn't fully come down?
You're on the Shekhinah, right? Yeah, so Chazal, again, that's disagreement between Chazal about the Shekhinah in the first and second also. But he's saying that Kavod Hashem, just from this Pshat, not Chazal, from the Pshat here, he's saying Kavod Hashem is going to be even greater.
So then the Chazals...
Could be. That's where the ones who disagree would disagree. Yes. Yeah. So he says, don't worry, it's going to be grand. Now, by Srim Varba with Chi'i Beshnat Shtayim with Daresh, Hadvar Hashem El Haggai and Avi Lemor. Another time, again, I told you Haggai often puts dates and times. This 24th day of the 9th month. When is 24th day? 9th month is Kislev. So this is 24th day of Kislev. Don't get Hanukkah's on the 25th day, but around that time. And Hanukkah didn't happen yet, right? The time of this whole story of Hanukkah didn't happen until much later, because that's during the Greek period. But Kol Marshem Tzvot Al Na Et Konim Torah Lamor. Now the Haggai and Hashem is going to put a test to the Kohanim. It's a little interesting that they're going to do here. It's Chazal disagree, or they have different opinions of why Haggai and Hashem are doing this now. They're going to the Kohanim and giving them a test. They're going to give them a test about their knowledge, either to see if they're knowledgeable enough to be Kohanim now in this new Beit HaMikdash that they're going to build, or they have to learn more, they have to do more. They want to make sure that they're ready. And Haggai is going to ask him a very, very particular question in halacha. If you know, Kohanim, their responsibility, the major responsibilities of what they're supposed to be doing is to decide what's tameh and what's tahor, what's kadosh, what's chol, right? So this is a specific question they're going to ask these Kohanim, and they're going to see what their answer would be to test them. Okay, this has to do with Tumah. Just a little backstory of Tumah and how Tumah works in halacha. There are different levels of Tumah. There are higher levels of Tumah and lower levels of Tumah. Highest level of Tumah is called a Avavi Avot Tumah, right? A dead body. Highest level of Tumah. Lower on the level is your interaction with that highest level. So if somebody touches a dead body, or somebody's in a tent with a dead body, or and then there's different transfer levels. So let's say you touched the dead body, and now you touch something else. That's now another level. It goes down and down, and let's say that thing touches something else. Then it's different levels. So it's called Avi Avot Tumah, then you have Ab Tumah, then it's called Rishon, Sheni, Shlishi, Revi'i.
I'm not getting why they're doing this little switch from talking about how great it's going to be to testing them.
Well, it's testing the people now, right? So this is a second, we see it's another prophecy that Haggai has, so it could be, and it's a little later. It could be making sure that the Kohanim are ready. Now they're building the Beit HaMikdash. They have to make sure that Kohanim there know the actual halachot, or they have to learn the halachot. They have to be taught the halachot. So it could be a practical thing of making sure you guys know what you're doing before, when we put you in. Now you got the new job in the Beit HaMikdash that was now being built. They have to make sure you know what you're doing. Or it could be seen, Chazal also seen this, could be seen as a rebuke if they don't get the answers right. It's showing, look, you guys, you had the priorities in the wrong place. You didn't learn the halachot. You weren't upkeeping all the things that you should be doing. Look, you have to do it. You have to renew the Torah learning, renew the halachot learning. So he's going to ask them a specific question. So again, there are different levels of Tumah. That's what you have to know. And there's a transfer level. So, and there's different levels. The lower levels are Rishon, Sheni, Shlishi, Revi'i. Just so you know, Shlishi is the third level that comes to Sheni is like food and drink. It transfers through food and drink that was touched. Shishi is Truma, and Revi'i is Kodesh. Kodesh is something that you give in the Beit HaMikdash. That's why they're also asking. Something that was dedicated to be used, to be given in the Beit HaMikdash. So here's the case. Okay? Hen yisa ish basar Kodesh beknaf bigdo. Benega bekanfo el halechem ve'el hanazid ve'el hayayin ve'ashemen ve'akol ma'achal hektish ve'enu konim ve'muba. Here's the case. A man was carrying basar kodesh, which that is tameh, okay? That is, something was tameh. And he was carrying it in his garment, in his cloth, and that cloth touched bread, and that bread touched nazid, which is like a stew, right? And that stew touched either yain, shemen, or machal hekdesh. And that stew touched either wine or oil or something machal hekdesh, okay, something of the sort. So you see, it transferred a whole bunch. It wasn't actual dead body that they're touching, but rather it transferred. The tumah transferred. So now
why is that a thing? It's not like food poisoning, or it's like
it's tumah. It's exactly how it works. It's like a virus, right? If you have dirt in your hands. Tumah is invisible, right? Tumah is invisible, but It's a level of holiness. But how Tumah works in halacha, there are different levels of Tumah, and it transfers into things. So that's why, you need to wash your hands at some points. That's why you can't go into Beit HaMikdash at some points. That's why if you around the dead body or around something that touched the dead body, or sharetz, a creepy crawly thing.
So I'm not understanding how anyone was tahor at that time, even the Kohen Gadol. It's impossible, because if he touches something, there's a big chance that someone might have touched it who might have
That's
touched
why
this.
the Kohen, right? So that's why the Kohen Gadol especially has to be careful. That's why he's not allowed to be around the dead baby. He can't go to funerals and he can't go to all these things, right? He can't go to he has to be careful. That's why there's this whole process that they have to become in order to become tahor. You have to go in the mikveh. You have to go all these things, in certain cases. So, right. So this is just a technical question. So he asked this question: is this machal hekdesh? Is this holy? Meaning, is it tameh or tahor? Right? Is it tameh? And what do they say? And their answer is no. Now, there's different understandings of whether, and the Gemara talks about this, are they right or are they wrong? Okay, so there's different ways of understanding it. And Rav and Shmuel here disagree in the Gemara. And Rav says they're not correct because in the case of, in this case, it goes to a Rivi'i, right, that Rivi'i level, and it's okay. But you see, not important whether they got it right or wrong. That's Chazal is saying, Shmuel and Rav, but here they say it's wrong. It's not good. Now, Haggai asked them another question. Let me change this. He says, V'yomer Haggai, im yigat tameh nefesh b'chol ele hi tameh. V'yitnu konim v'emru yitameh. Now he says, now it wasn't that it was carried in the cloth or the clothing, but rather it was actually touching a dead corpse. And that corpse transferred that tuma. Is that thing, that food item for kodesh, is that tameh? And they say, yes, it is tameh. And again, Chazal, Rav, Shmuel, they disagree, but Rav says they are right. Shmuel also says they're right in this case. But now Chaggai's answers.
It doesn't die off after
there is after the fourth. There's no after the fourth.
Like that list, the first one, it gave five things before.
Yeah.
And it still said.
I said there's Aviyavot, there's a Av, there's a Rishon, Sheni, Shlishi, Revi'i. There's different levels. And there's certain things you could do. It doesn't mean that you're tameh. You can't do anything if you're any level, but there are different things you are not allowed to do.
No, I'm saying like the tameh. It doesn't
It does after the Revi'i stage.
After the fourth thing of it touching, transferring
certain things. So it dies out but it's only the fourth stage is only for things for the Beit HaMikdash. That's why it's an extra level. Let's say food and drink are only in the second sheni. Food and drink are only in the second level. After that, it doesn't continue. But things that are applied for the Beit HaMikdash, since they're special, they have to be there. Fine. Then they have an extra level.
Fine, I got what you're saying now.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. So, any case, they gave their answers, right? They gave their answers, whether right, wrong, whatever. That's less important right now. So then we have the answer. V'yan Haggai v'yomer. Ken ha'am hazeh v'chen hagoy hazeh l'fnei umu Hashem v'chen kol ma'aseh yedem v'asher yikavru sham tamehu. Haggai says to all these people, all of you and all these things are actually yikavru sham tamehu. Now, in the Gemara, they discuss whether Haggai is answering the specific question and saying these things are tameh or tahor. He could be saying that they're both tameh, or it could be saying you guys are tameh, not the particular halakha that it was testing you on, but rather you guys are not qualified yet. You guys are tameh because you had the wrong priorities, because you were focusing on other things. That's why you're tameh. So what should you be doing if that's the case? If you don't have your right priorities, if you don't know halacha, if you're not focusing on the right thing, he says, "V'atasmu na'levchem." Again, the concept: focus on yourselves. Min hayom hazeh v'mala miterem shum even el even ve'echal Hashem. Now, from this day forward, focus on the right things. As long as no stone had been weighed upon the Shem, right? We didn't have the building, but now we are building. We are putting even on top of one another. Now, focus yourself. Focus on the right things that you're supposed to be doing. And now he's going to go on to rebuke them again like he did before, that you try all these things, but it's not producing for yourself. So he says, you work all these hard to get 20 measures of a certain wheat, and you only have 10. Or you work or you work to get the wine, and you get 50 measurements, you think, but you only get 20 measurements. You're working so hard, but you're not really achieving. And now, Joey, you're not going to like this, but he says, "Hey, Katie, etchem b'shidafon b'karon b'barad et kol ma'aseidechem ve'et echechem elaynu Hashem." I struck you with all these bad things, with shidafon, viruses. I put hail on you. I put all these things, and you didn't return to me. Hashem is saying, look, I punished you guys, but you're not realizing that it's coming from me. Simu na'alivechem min hayom hazeh. Focus from today forward. Focus from today forward. V'ma miyom isrim v'arbev teshiv miyom hayom asher yusad heichel Hashem simu limchem. From this forward, when you put the foundation, it's the 24th day in the month of Kislev. Now focus on the right things. Forget about the past. Forget that you didn't focus in the past. Forget you weren't doing well in the past. From today forward, have the right priorities. Do what's right. Focus on Hashem. Focus on what's right. And then when you're going to do that, and then you're going to be plentiful. You're going to have blessing in your grains. You're going to have blessing in your vineyard. You're going to have blessing in your fig tree, your pomegranates, your olive oil. Everything's going to bear fruit, and it's going to be a blessing. And now he ends off just the last couple of psukim of the parak. Vidvar Hashem shenit el Haggai be'esrim v'arba l'chodesh umor. He has another prophecy. And he says to Zerubbabel, I'm going to bring this great shake to the world. There's going to be all these changes in the kingdoms, and I'm going to destroy the bad kingdoms, and they're going to fall upon swords. And that day, and that day I'm going to take Zerubbabel, who is my servant, and that day I'm going to choose Zerubbabel, and he's going to be my signet. He's going to be like on my ring, which shows that I am supporting him, because I picked him, because I am Neum Hashem Tzvot. I am the Lord of the hosts. I am the Lord of the army. I am the strength of Hashem. This could mean, Chazal say the different understandings of what this means and when this would take place. This either takes place during the time that Zerubbabel lived, could be talking about because Zerubbabel is part of Yehudah, could be the times that let's say in the Chashmonaim controlled, or could be talking times of the third Beit HaMikdash, when we're going to have recontrol over our land, and there's going to be changes all around. But basically what Haggai is saying, if you have the right intentions, if you have the right priorities, I am going to bless you. I am going to give you everything you need, both economically, both politically. I am going to be there for you. So therefore, focus on the right priorities. Focus on Hashem. Don't just think about yourself. Don't just think about your own houses. Build my house. Focus on me as well, and you're going to be okay.
All right. Thank you, Rabbi.
Learn from our wives, not just this time, but rather we can also learn from our wives that even if things are difficult, even things that are hard for us, we should just try and do it. We should step up and just do it. Okay.
Amen.
Okay.
All right.
We'll end the recording.